If you've ever tried to learn Arabic, you know the feeling. That moment you just hit a wall with vocabulary. It feels like for every single word you learn, 10 more just pop up out of nowhere. But what if I told you there was a secret key? A system that, once you get it, could unlock not just one word, but entire families of words all at once. Okay, let's dive into this. This isn't some made-up problem. This is a real question from a learner on Reddit, and it just perfectly nails the frustration that stumps so many students. You see the word fawad, which means benefits. You grab your dictionary, you go to the first letter, and nothing. You're doing everything you think you're supposed to do, but you're getting absolutely nowhere. So what's going on here? Is the dictionary broken? Are you just missing something super obvious? Well, the answer is that this frustration, it isn't a failure. It's actually a giant clue. It's pointing to the fundamental structure of the Arabic language, something that works very differently from English. And that clue leads us right here to the Arabic consonantal root system. This is the code we are going to crack today. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that understanding this one concept is the single biggest leap you can make in your Arabic studies. It literally changes everything. So what is a consonantal root? The easiest way to think about it is like the DNA of a word family. It's the skeleton, usually made of 3 consonants, that holds the core essential meaning. Then vowels and other letters are kind of built around this skeleton to create a whole bunch of different but related words. Verbs, nouns, adjectives, the whole shebang. Okay, let's go back to our friend on Reddit and their word fawad. The process is kind of like a bit of linguistic detective work. First, you take the word itself. Then you strip away the extra letters that are just part of a grammatical pattern. In this case, it's a common plural pattern. And boom, what you're left with are the core consonants, the root. FYD. This little guy carries the core idea of benefit or usefulness. And this right here brings us to the crucial point. This is the secret. Arabic dictionaries are not organized alphabetically by the word you see, like in English. They are organized alphabetically by that 3-letter root. So our learner wasn't supposed to be looking under the letter fa for fawad. They needed to be looking for the root FYD. Once you know that, the dictionary just cracks wide open. And what you find isn't just one word, it's the whole family. You'll see the verb afada, to benefit, the adjective mufid, beneficial, and the noun ifada, a statement. They all blossom from that same 3-letter DNA. Okay, so knowing the root system helps you use a dictionary. That's a total game changer. But how does it help you actually learn vocabulary faster? Well, let's look at this really fascinating tool that was designed for exactly that. Check out this number. This comes from a small but super powerful booklet called 80% of Quranic Words. Now, the title is actually being pretty modest. The words in this little booklet make up nearly 83% of all the words in the entire Quran. How is that even possible? Well, here's where it gets really interesting. Look at this chart. That huge purple slice, that represents the words from just the first 6 pages of this booklet. And get this. They account for a massive 41.5% of the total words in the Quran. That is an absolutely incredible shortcut. So the booklet works by using the principle of frequency. Instead of learning words randomly, it targets the most common vocabulary. And guess what? A lot of those come from the most common roots. This is just a perfect practical example of how understanding the patterns of a language lets you learn in a much smarter way. So the 80% booklet is a fantastic shortcut, a targeted tool for one really important text. But what happens when you want to step out into the wider world of modern Arabic? What's the master key for reading today's books, news, and articles? For that, we turn to the ultimate tool for learners of modern standard Arabic, the legendary Hans Wehr Dictionary. For decades, this book has been the absolute gold standard for students. See, unlike some older dictionaries that focus on classical texts, Hans Wehr is built on modern sources, literature, newspapers, official documents. That makes it incredibly relevant for anyone trying to engage with the Arabic-speaking world today. And it has a pretty rich history. It started as a German edition way back in 1952, and then it was translated and massively expanded for the English-speaking world. The 4th edition from 1979, that's the classic version you'll find on pretty much every student's desk. Now, the dictionary's history is, well, it's complex. The original project was actually funded by the German government during the Nazi era, with the initial goal of translating Mein Kampf. But despite those origins, the work itself was compiled on purely descriptive, scholarly principles. It evolved into an academic tool that has become absolutely essential and respected by students and scholars all over the world. So let's kind of bring this all together. We have two very different tools here, right? One is a targeted shortcut for a specific foundational text, and the other is this huge, comprehensive reference book for the modern language. But what do they have in common? They both run on the exact same operating system. To find anything, you have to understand the root. But beyond just looking things up in a dictionary, why does the system matter so much? Because it completely reframes how you learn. You stop memorizing individual, isolated words, and you start seeing the connections, this beautiful web of meaning that links them all together. So, the crucial points to take away from all this are pretty simple. First, Arabic vocabulary is built on this elegant root system. Second, that means you have to look up words by their root. And finally, and this is the most important part, when you can spot a root, you don't just unlock one word. You unlock an entire family of words, verbs, nouns, adjectives, all connected by that single core meaning. That is the real secret to building a massive vocabulary efficiently. And, this whole thing really illustrates a much bigger idea. Learning a language with a structure so different from your own doesn't just teach you new words, it teaches you a totally new way to organize ideas. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How does the very structure of a language, its DNA, change the way we see and connect concepts in the world all around us?